Alright, so today I'm talking about cinematic drum processing, how I go about building my drum sections. So I'm using my track Valley of Death here, which has a lot of epic hits and a really nice build and fluctuation in the percussion. So, here we go. So we kind of have a lot of space between the percussion at the moment. Get a little more full, a little more epic. So on its own, here's the percussion section. So over here I have my epic hits. And I love creating these unrealistic but massive hits. So as an example, it fills up most of the frequency spectrum. So what I do for these is let's go to the break here. So what I do for these is I'll create the low hits. So I only use the lows on the drums where I really like that frequency range. And then I do the same thing as we go. So now with the high mids, or the low mids, sorry. The low mids right here. Same thing with a few more layers. Now with the high mids, do that a couple more times. And then with the highs. And it creates this really beefy, full hit that doesn't even sound like a real drum, but I love it. But if you take a look at my entire percussion section, look how full that is. Like, for some reason I just find that so rewarding. But you'll notice that in the beginning I don't necessarily go with that. In the beginning it's a little less constant, a little less full, but I find that makes a very rewarding build as it gets more. Still have some rest here, but then at the end we've got full-fledged drums. So here it is all together. So to achieve that full sound, I've got a couple layers. This is from Heavy-Octane Damage 2, these guys. I love that library. You just have to be a little careful though, because the low-end decay is pretty long. So if you try to do too fast of a pattern with this particular library, you might run into troubles pretty quick. So layered with Junkie XL Tychos from Spitfire. So those are my low drums. Then I bring in some more Tychos just for a little more rhythmic energy. Then we've got some mids. That's from Heavy-Octane Damage 2 as well. So are these guys. Love some tom barrages. That sounds really cool. Then we've got some buckets. Just for that nice high-end kind of ticking energy. And then this is on my cinematic kit here. Now, on this one I did something a little bit different. So the cinematic kit consists of Surdo, a large Surdo, kick on its side, 2 floor toms, and my bigger snare. Now I hit those with Tycho sticks, so it sounds huge and epic, which Tycho sticks are that big around and about that long. So what I did differently here though was I wanted some natural reverb. So I actually shoved a microphone in a vent over there. And it made for this really cool metallic edition, unique space, you know? So without, with. All right, all together. One more more thing I don't want to leave out is that I love accenting sections, the beginning of a new section, at very least the breaks. So we've got a tam-tam here to mark the beginning. It really adds that flavor, because I definitely miss it if it's not there. Compared to just kind of opens everything up and then leaves room for the percussion to be really tight and focused. So on top of that, the reverb choices for percussion are quite varied depending on the track. So let's see, we've got, on this particular one, I've got the Valhalla Vintage Verb. Note that I am cutting up to 520 hertz and anything above 4,410 here. And I've got a nice plate. For some reason, plates just have that beautiful ring out of the reverb that I'm usually looking for. And we've got a 2.19 second delay or decay, which is pretty long. If it were super fast patterns, I would definitely have to tone this down a bit, but it adds a nice space and fills in the gaps between the hits. Let's see. On the hit bus. All right, so on these epic hits, remember the hybrid hits? I want that space to sound absolutely massive, so I'm actually sending to two different reverbs here now. So on this one, we are still sending to the plate, the same one. But we're also sending to Verb Suite Classics, which has a ton of great reverbs. So I've got a lot of width here, but a really short decay. One other thing you'll notice is that I have a compressor after the reverb. So what this helps is it really helps the hits shine through and then the reverb ring out. So if we were to solo, so I've got a really like kind of a medium attack and a medium release here, but I'm kind of crushing it as it goes in with a ratio of 3:1. But if we take that away, the hits are so much less focused. So sound kind of washed out without that compressor. So that's a really nice trick to help the hits shine through, but still get that ring of the reverb. Now we're also sending to a bit of a delay here, just to give it a little extra width. So you hear how that's a little more narrow, but with the delay it kind of rings out a little more. All right, and again, all together.